This is a real picture of me leaving the door of my home forever, 3 years ago. I put this photo on the thumbnail for this live stream because it is very dear to me and it's full of symbolism. It was taken moments before I walked out of that door to never return, to step into complete darkness and uncertainty, to take a leap of faith. It was taken moments before I lost my home and my country. 3 years ago, I walked out of Russia with a backpack, a bleeding heart, tears in my eyes, and a choice: stay silent or lose everything. Tonight I am telling you what exile really costs: family, friends, business, life, and what it gives back. Was it worth it? What I regret, what I would do again, and what comes next. I will tell you a few personal stories of very significant moments in my life. Of the moment I knew I had to flee Russia, of the first 15 days, how they were the most fearful days of my life, and I'll show you a short movie I made about those days, of how I found a new community and a new mission in my life, of what I got wrong about exile, and 5 lessons for everyone facing a hard choice or a big move. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia, where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. As usual, you will not find any propaganda, BS, or lies here. Instead, you'll find lots of truth, common sense, and logic, and emotions. And today, probably the most emotional live stream I've done in years, because it concerns, well, it tells of the transformation that I have gone through in my life. Do you know how it feels to lose everything? No, literally everything. A few of you might know that, unfortunately, but do you know how it feels to lose your country on top of losing everything? I do. And today, I want to tell you my story. Now, I'll start from the very start. I'll start from the beginning. I'll start from the step 1. The war in Ukraine hit me like a train. I never even remotely considered the possibility of Russia attacking Ukraine. Very naive of me. I never considered Russia doing that, not because I thought Putin was such a nice guy, because I realized that starting a war with Ukraine would be suicidal for Russia, would be both economic and social suicide. And when Russia attacked, I was caught completely unprepared. On the 24th of February 2022, I felt like my world fell apart. The decision to leave Russia was made right then. It didn't take long. But do you know how difficult it is to get up and leave your country for a long time, or perhaps indefinitely, especially when you have kids involved? Kids in school, young kids. You have to wrap up your life. You have to prepare for leaving, and this is what we started doing in spring of 2022, preparing. But towards the end of that summer, it became clear that we had to go. So many things changed in Russia, and the most important thing was people. The Russians changed. Russian people. I could not recognize people any longer, and it was a tragedy. My personal tragedy and the tragedy of the country. People around me, people who I knew, some of them I knew well, They were silently approving what Russia was doing to Ukraine. I'm saying silently approving because they didn't speak up, they didn't oppose, they didn't stand up. Perhaps they were against the war somewhere deep inside. They never made it heard. So we were getting ready. And then came September 21st, and the mobilization was announced. The mobilization in Russia was kicking my butt to get up and get going. I had been ready by the time, and the mobilization became the last straw that broke camel's back, so to speak. When I heard Putin speaking that day and announcing the mobilization, I knew that the time had come. I just knew it. Yet, I hesitated. Folks, that was perhaps one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult decisions in my life. Because how do you make it? How can you not hesitate when you look at your children knowing that you had to leave them, not knowing for how long, and not knowing what would come next? That is scary. Scary is not even a word. That's life-changing. So we were discussing for days long with the family, with the wife. I knew that I was risking a lot by not leaving Russia. And there were two reasons for that. First, mobilization itself. There was manhunt open for Russian men on the streets of Russia, Russian cities, villages, for young and old. And at the time, I was 46, and I personally know a man who was mobilized at 62. And there was no way I would take gun, go to Ukraine and start killing people. No way. And refusing to go to the front lines would mean, prison, very long prison time. And then once you're in Russian prison, chances are you don't get out. And the reason number two was even more concerning than the mobilization. I was afraid that the KGB would use the mobilization as an excuse to get rid of me. I was, at the time, in the late 2022, I was the only English speaker on YouTube, Russian, in Russia, standing up against Putin and against the war. I spoke between the lines a lot, and some of you who have followed Inside Russia for a long time, who followed back then, some of you remember me speaking between the line. I got actually quite skilled at that. But that was already enough to get rid of me. So I expected a bang on the door at any night. At the end of every live stream, I said goodbye to the viewers. And every time I was sincere and very serious. I meant it. I really thought they could come for me at night. The moment the decision to leave was made, and I would like to zero in, because this is probably one of the most important moments in my life. The decision was made on September 25th, 3 years ago exactly to this date. 4 days into the mobilization. I had been hesitant to leave, and my wife was pushing me and pushing. And actually, some viewers on this channel, the members of Inside Russia community, also pushed me. My moderators, Lorna and Mami K, were pushing me hard to leave, saying, hey, you gotta be safe for your family, and I appreciate that very much. So I also had asked God for help, asking, Lord, please send me a sign. Give me the answer. And it was Sunday, the 25th. Today is the 25th, 3 years later. So it was Sunday, late morning, and we were in the kitchen. Natasha was cooking breakfast, and she turned to me and said, honey, I love you. But if you don't leave now, I'll take this frying pan and bang it on your head. The iron pan was, and she had it right in her hand. The iron pan was cast iron, pretty heavy, and it was kind of a silent moment. And then my mobile phone sent a signal of an email received. A sound like ding. That was an email from Rafaela From, a Christian, a member of Inside Russia community from Germany. And this is her email. I would like to show it to you. So I was asking for the answer from the Lord. And this is the email came. And basically it was given to me. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Now, if this isn't the direct answer from God to my question, then tell me what the answer is. If this isn't a miracle, tell me what a miracle is. I will be telling this story, and I will be showing this email from Rafaela From to my children and to their children and to children of their children. I felt at the time if I was hit by a bolt of lightning right there in our kitchen. The decision was made right then. Natasha must have seen something on my face. She asked if everything was all right, and I simply silently gave her the phone to read the email, and her face changed also. When I right then I understood that was it. Right then, and I started feeling dreary, very scared. It's like you know what's coming definitely for you, inevitably, and it's just a matter of time when it arrives. And I'm not gonna tell you how I was preparing. I actually made a video. I'm gonna place a link right here. I made a video a long time ago, around 3 years ago, because I documented my my leaving Russia. Just, I'm gonna show you one picture. This is a moment of me and Natasha when we were trying to make a decision. You know, before that Sunday. Look at our eyes. Look at our picture. It's a selfie. That's when we were searching for the answer. I remember that moment quite well. Late September, already cold in Moscow. Hopelessness in the eyes. Because we didn't know what to do. It was... it's hard. So I'm not going to tell you how I was leaving. You can watch in the movie. I'm going to place a link. But I'm just going to tell you two things. In this period of time, in 36 hours, when I had to prepare to finish my life, to wrap everything around, you know, and I was certainly not prepared for that. So I had 36 hours to leave. And then I left first to Tajikistan, and then I walked to Uzbekistan. In that time, I cried twice. First, when I was seeing Michael off, he was still attending kindergarten, and I took him from kindergarten, taking him to preschool. And he was preoccupied so much about, you know, going to the preschool. He loved it. And all I could think of was what I'm going to do without him, without the girls, without my wife. This is the last time I'm seeing him. I don't know. Not forever, but in a long time. And then when I was just dropping him off at the preschool, He was Russian. And I said, Michael, wait. And I started hugging and kissing him. And he didn't understand because he thought that I was going to meet him after preschool at home, or I was going to take him from preschool and take home. So he wasn't saying goodbye, and I was. I couldn't let him go. Um, I was saying goodbye, not knowing what was next for me. I was taking a leap of faith. Michael didn't know that. I walked out of the preschool after dropping him off, and there are moments when you just have tears pouring out of your eyes, and there's nothing you can do. Nothing. And that was one of the moments. I'm living it again. It's still tough. Now, the second time I cried was when I was walking in the desert of Tajikistan in my overcoat, because I came from cold Moscow, and I kind of jumped into summer again. And I was walking in the heat of Tajik sun in the desert towards the border to cross into Uzbekistan. And I cried because I felt so angry and powerless. I felt at the time that I was just a little tiny speck of dust in a tornado, and I had no control over my life or the life of my family, and I just didn't know what to do. And most of people who got off the plane with me, and we flew to a town in Tajikistan, we were going on the same route into Uzbekistan, and hundreds of men were in front and behind me, walking along with me, and they were all crying too. I saw that. It's really hard to, when you're like 46-year-old man and then you have tears in your eyes, it's kind of like uncomfortable, and you try to mask them, and you try to hide them, and you try to wipe them so no one sees you. And I did that, and I saw other men doing that. When I arrived to Uzbekistan, it took one day for adrenaline to wear off, because adrenaline was just, I had so much of it inside. And anyway, one day I started kind of like exhaling, and the stress and depression and anger and fear and all that cocktail of this incredibly dark, bad feelings started setting onto my shoulders, or filling me up on the inside. Okay, and I actually started feeling hopelessness. I felt life was over. My life was over. That was one thought I had popping up in my head over and over again. The world was falling apart around me. Everything I had worked for, I had to leave behind. Everything I knew was rendered useless. Okay? I felt it was me against the world. And I started walking. That's the best thing I could come up with. And I've shared many times here in the live streams, and I call that phenomena Tashkent walks. I walked from morning till night. I kept on walking. I couldn't stop, and I was listening to music. I had my AirPods, and I listened to the music constantly, because music takes your mind off thinking about life. As soon as music stopped, thoughts started appearing in my head, kind of thoughts I didn't like. I hated them. It was very tough. Uh, I don't know how to describe the emotions. It's not just one emotion. It wasn't fear. It wasn't darkness. It wasn't hopelessness. It was all combined. Um, Now, I actually talked a lot about walking in Tashkent, but I made a movie. This morning, I went to Tashkent Breakfast Club and I walked the route back home, one of the routes I was walking back then, and I filmed along. So I'm gonna play it for you right now, so you kind of get an idea of what I was doing in the first days in Uzbekistan. This is the Eco Park. This is one of the places where I used to take long walks in when I just arrived to Tashkent. Place helped a lot. It gave me, well, it allowed me to find some kind of peace of mind. I used to walk around this park in circles, and I used to listen to the music in my, earpods all the time, because when I was listening to music, it distracted me from thinking about life and this was filmed this morning. What had just happened. And I arrived to Uzbekistan on the 27th, and it was actually 25th. So in 2 days, it'll be 3 years. Anyway, this place helped me a lot, and I'm visiting it 3 years. 2 days, it'll be 3 years to the day. Well, on this day, this early morning in Russia, in Moscow, it was cold. It was fall, in the middle of fall there. I made the decision to leave Russia permanently, and I'm standing here in Tashkent 3 years later. What the right decision that was. Just a few scenes that where I used to walk in Tashkent. Beautiful city and beautiful weather this time of year. Perfect, really. Not too hot, not too cold. High 70s, very pleasant, sunny, dry, fantastic. It's a big Catholic church. This was my playground for first few days. I didn't know where I walked. I just walked. I wandered aimlessly. I was walking for the sake of walking. Oh, I remember well these paths. New city for me. New people, new country. Cafes everywhere, open cafes. And these cafes they're empty now, but they were full of Russians, the refugees. And you could spot a refugee from afar. A person would be sitting and just sitting there doing nothing and thinking, just like I was walking. Costa Coffee helped me a lot. I got coffees from that place, kept me going. I know this paths, walkways. I know them well. I know this. Tashkent is a very clean city, lots of trees, lots of greenery. People are very nice, not aggressive. Most are bilingual, they speak Uzbek and Russian. Russian actually is first language, native language for most of them. Different language, different languages, but everyone understands. If you don't speak Uzbek, they start speaking Russian to you immediately. So it's very multicultural, multinational city and country. People are usually wonderful. So this is Thursday early afternoon. I was walking after I was done late breakfast, early lunch at Tashkent Breakfast Club. KFC, Wendy's, Costa Coffee, everywhere. And that is me. Incredibly thin looking here. Now, this place is very dear to me. This is the birthplace of Tashkent Breakfast Club. I was walking around these parts of Tashkent and I stumbled upon this place. I saw a few refugees sitting outside at this terrace. It looked a bit different 3 years ago. They rebuilt it, but the cafe is still the same, and I figured it'd be a good idea to get together with other people like me to try to support each other, just not to be alone in this big city, very strange place. And then I started inviting people for breakfast. First couple of weeks I had breakfast myself, and then I started offering to buy breakfast to people, pay for coffee, for tea, for the fried eggs, and they started coming. And the rest is history. Tashkent Breakfast Club has been the home of many good deeds and the home of many good people. Before I actually started getting Russians together, an interesting story happened to me. And again, you might believe, might not believe, but that's the fact. That's what happened. And I actually talked about it a lot here at YouTube. If you tuned in to Inside Russia, let's say, in early October, you would be seeing everything live. Now, I was walking the streets of Tashkent, and I was asking God, why did you send it to me? Why do I have to go through it? Obviously, I prayed for the Ukrainians, and it wasn't the worst. It was much better than the Ukrainians were going through. And that also was breaking my heart. But I was going through also not very pleasant experience of my life, and I was asking the Lord, why am I in Tashkent? What am I doing here? Where's my family? Where are my kids? What's my future? And all of a sudden, I got a message from an American in Texas, and she asked me. She said, "Look, we have a person far away in the far east of Russia, and we would like to bring him over to Texas, but we don't know how to get him out of Russia. So we follow your story. We see that you recently got out of Russia. You've been successful at it. So could you please help us out?" Um, well, I said, okay. And I had a task all of a sudden on my hands. I had to evacuate person from deep parts of taiga near Vladivostok. That's far east of Russia, the Pacific part. And to get to Vladivostok, that person, his name was is Alex. He had to take a train or a cab for 5 hours just to get to the nearest city with airport. Okay, that's how far in the taiga he was. So a person told me, look, get him out of Russia and we'll cover your expenses. I didn't know them. I didn't know if they would do that, but I figured, you know what, there's one soul that needs to be saved from Russia. And if they don't pay me back, I'd still do it. So I arranged everything, and it was quite an operation. And you could see it in my live streams back in October. It was not easy, very complicated logistics. I bought tickets from Uzbekistan using my Russian credit cards, and it took him almost 3 days to travel from Vladivostok to Tashkent. So he went 2 layovers in Russia, and every time he was under threat and risk of getting mobilized at the airports. And he finally made it to Tashkent, and I went to meet him. I rented a hotel room for the guy. So he checked in, and I met him at the hotel, and I finally saw his face after so many days of communicating, and talking and calling and trying to get him out. And I saw that he was not easy. Something was odd. And I said, what's going on? He said, well, you know what? I ran out of money in Russia 2 days ago, and I haven't eaten in 2 days. I said, oh my God. Let's go. And there was a place right next door when they had pilaf. I said, let's go. Let's run to the place. So we go to the place, and he eats. And after he eats, he feels so much better, and he looks so happy. And he starts thanking me for getting him out of Russia. He was radiating of light from the inside, of him. There was light in his eyes, and he was so grateful. He was so happy to be out of Russia. And I was sitting there, and I was thinking, perhaps this is the answer. Perhaps this is why I am in Tashkent. To help people. Because I know my way around. I have the support of my family. I have the support of friends. I have friends in Uzbekistan. I have support of the community inside Russia. You have been supporting me tremendously. Back then, I felt like you were carrying me in your hands. There were so many good words, heartwarming messages, prayers, love. It was incredible. And I figured, hey, you know what? Perhaps this is my mission, to help others to get out and to start new lives. And I kind of looked up and I said, well, I don't feel like my life is over any longer, and that was Alex. The person who asked me for Alex, she ended up paying every penny. I think that his trip cost outside of Russia cost around $2,500 or something like that. It wasn't cheap, but she promised to pay, and she delivered. I mean, and I'd be happy just to help him. He got on the plane. He was in a live stream with me, actually, and it's still there on YouTube. He told his story. We finished the live stream. I got him the cab, sent him to the airport. He jumped on the plane to Frankfurt, from Frankfurt to Mexico City. And from Mexico City, I think he took cab to the US border and turned himself in, claimed political asylum. And he spent 90 days in confinement in immigration prison. And then they released him. He won the case, and he is a green card holder now. He lives in Texas. I haven't heard from Alex in over 3 years. He doesn't really keep in touch. But I'm so glad to help him. And that guy gave me hope for my life. He kind of like showed me the way, well, God did through him. And it was a very touching moment in my life. Very touching. Right after that, I figured, you know what, I got to help different people, because I was going through incredibly, I don't know what it was, hormones, whatever, but it was like twisting you from inside out in your guts, this stress, this fear, this hopelessness, And I figured that everyone else was going through the same experience. Well, I knew because I saw them. I saw people walking just like me, listening to music. I saw a bunch of cars with Russian license plates who drove all the way to Russia, running away from mobilization, running away from war, running away from Putin, I saw tons of people at banks opening bank accounts. I saw people getting registered here. I figured, hey, you know what? We got to get together. And this is how Tashkent Breakfast Club was born. Right there. I'll show you again. This place. Team's Cafe. Kind of like Rick's Cafe in Casablanca. Kind of the same thing. We were sitting, on the left side in the veranda usually when it was nice. And at first, no one showed up. I had breakfast by myself. And then I started saying, hey, look, in local Telegram chats, if you show up and keep me company, I will feed you. I'll buy you coffee, tea, porridge, fried eggs, whatever you want. Come, please come and have breakfast with me. And people started showing up. And I remember the first time 7 people showed up, and all grown men, all in their 40s. And they were sitting at the round table, and everyone was silent, and I kind of said, look, let me break the ice, so to speak, and I introduced myself. I said, my name is Konstantin, I came from Russia on the 27th, and this is what I went through. And then all of a sudden, the floodgate was open. Everyone started speaking, interrupting each other, like trying to unload, and I saw emotions like I had never seen in my life before. And the word of mouth got around, and people started showing up, and I modeled Tashkent Breakfast Club after synagogue. Synagogue is a fantastic place for Jewish people, not just a church to pray, but they come there, and it's like a small community of people for the same religion. It's you can eat there. You can take your children to study languages there. You can find business connections. You can find networking. It's like a small club of everything. And the Tashkent Breakfast Club became like that, like a small synagogue, or actually a big one. I remember people started coming over from, just from airport. They came for breakfast because they already had known about us from Telegram, and they knew where to find us. And they would show up with luggage saying, look, I need a place to stay. I need a job. I need, and we were helping as much as we can. Some people came saying, like, I don't want to stay in Uzbekistan. I want to go other places. What are the options? And we were just giving advice. Some went to Argentina. Some went to Australia. Some went to the United States. I never gave advice for them to go to the USA because I only think that the right way is to go is through legal immigration process. But I know some people who at least tried out of desperation with kids, families, Some people went to Europe. Tashkent Breakfast Club is 1,000 plus people, large right now. We have breakfasts every day. We have big meetings every Saturday. I live stream from Tashkent Breakfast Club meeting every Saturday noon Tashkent. And we have lectures on Sunday, and we have different events. I have found friends there. It's really hard to make friends at 47, 46, but I have found friends, real good friends. Some people started businesses, met at Tashkent Breakfast Club. We had two couples formed. People fell in love. And actually, it's a strong community, keeps on going. Okay. This is what happened to me in Uzbekistan. And the next community, of course, is inside Russia. I cannot underestimate how important this community, you, have been to me. You literally saved my life. You were helping me, cheering me up. You were keeping me afloat when I felt so depressed. I felt so desperate. Inside Russia, every time I turned the live stream chat on, my life got more colorful. Thank you so very much. Thank you, mods. Thank you, the usual suspects, the pillars of what's inside Russia. You have become although I don't know most of you personally, only virtually, but you have become my real personal friends. Thank you so very much. It's a very emotional stream. I'm sorry. Have there been any costs of exile? For me and for many around me. You'd better believe it. There have been many, many costs. Culture shock, loss of country, loss of friends, loss of money, property, wealth, loss of family, health deterioration, depression, big mental problems. I have seen it all. Tashkent Breakfast Club, our support community, and by the way, it includes the Ukrainians as well. Once we got together with the Russians, I felt something was missing. And around December of 2022, I started searching for Ukrainians here in Tashkent. And I found a few families and I invited them to Tashkent Breakfast Club, and they came. My idea was to start getting Russians and Ukrainians at one table so they break bread together, they eat and drink, look at each other in the eyes. I figured, someone was going to do that, the first step, and might as well be us here in Tashkent. So we have Ukrainians, active members of Tashkent Breakfast Club. We have a Ukrainian pastor. We have quite a few Ukrainian families, and they're our friends. I'm very proud to call them friends. Okay, so Tashkent Breakfast Club is about 1,100 people virtually, and I have met most of them, and I've met many others who ended up going their ways. So it's safe to say that I've met around 3,000 Russians or so, from 2,000 to 3,000 Russians and Ukrainians, mostly Russians though. And I've seen different stories. I've seen families break apart quite a few times, actually. I've seen, husband leaves Russia, wife doesn't want to leave. Husband and wife leave, and their families break up with them, cancel them. I've seen people get very sick. I've seen some people breaking and returning to Russia in the first 6 months. So first thing you go through if you immigrate is culture shock. your environment changes, your language changes, everything changes, your life changes, and then you start feeling awful. It happened to me when I immigrated to America when I was 20. I didn't know what was going on, but later I learned it's called culture shock. It's a phenomena that everyone goes through. And to us, it was incredibly bad because it wasn't just us immigrating. We were running away from evil. We were leaving everything behind. Our lives, we didn't know what to do next. So everyone went through a pretty bad culture shock. And the first thing I started doing when we started getting together for breakfast, quite a few of us, I found a couple psychologists and I started organizing lectures every Sunday, free of charge, of course, for all Russians and Ukrainians alike to come and seek help of professional psychologists. And they were telling about culture shock, how to deal with that, what are the methods of easing pain, and so forth. Lives were changing along the way. It was probably the hardest 10 months of my life. A lot of people started getting sick. See, once summer and fall were really, really hard, but then things started getting better when spring came. Better weather, 6 months passed after Russia, we start getting used to a new place, culture shock is over. And people started finding new jobs and new hopes, light ahead of the tunnel started, beaming for many. They found new ways. Okay, they were leaving Russia behind. And then everyone kind of like started relaxing and exhaling. Everyone started getting sick. I noticed that in the summer of 2023. Some sick easy, some sick very, very like badly. Some had autoimmune diseases. Some 2 people have gone not well, not stable. We found psychiatrists to look after them. It was tough. Okay. Later, doctors told us that it's called delayed stress. When you're stressing out for so long, your body is mobilized. Okay, and it's going through everything. But then once you relax, the body starts making up for all that stress. The worst part, of course, was losing the country. Most of us, we cannot go back to Russia. Some people go back and forth, they risk. Some people return, about 15%, well, 20%, I would say, in 3 years. But most of us, we are still here, and we've lost the country. We cannot go, we're countryless. We're not allowed anywhere, or almost anywhere in the world, except for a few countries in Southeast Asia, in Africa, in Central Asia. That the choices are very limited. A lot of us have lost friends in Russia. A lot of us we just some friends don't want to talk to us from former friends, and some people we don't want to talk to for obvious reasons. I saw even families canceling people out, their family members out. So there have been lots of costs. I started getting sick a lot also in the summer of 2023. And I mean, you watch a lot of my live streams and I got serious stuff. I got Bell's palsy a year ago. I got pneumonia, I think a couple times. I get sick all the time, like every once a month or something like that. I'm getting sick now. And one of the doctors in Israel actually explained, he said, look, you're always on the lookout. You're always thinking about, you're always stressing out. And then even if you don't think you are, you do that. And then that's how your body is producing a lot of cortisol. You have extremely high level of cortisol, and that's running your immune system down. I think the doctor is right. So a lot of costs associated with exile. And at this point, I want to say thank you very much because, again, you have helped me tremendously. You have helped me to go through the hardship. I actually don't know how to thank you enough. And I usually thank you for watching, for liking, for praying along with me, but that's more than that. I don't think you understand how much this community have helped. I've never felt truly alone. And you know how lonely it gets? But I always had my family, my Tashkent Breakfast Club community, and you. Every single day, every single moment, I knew that there are people out there who pray for me, who care for me, who send their love, who send their messages. Thank you. Thank you so much. You even helped me to get through demonetization. 13 months ago, I was demonetized by Google for no obvious reasons. Well, actually, I was demonetized for a reason of being Russian, but then I applied for remonetization from my American company. As American as apple pie, clean, transparent, and they've been denying me for 13 months. And even then, you helped me out. You saved me. You signed up for a Patreon account, and that's given me financial support to feed my family and to do other things that I've been doing. I don't want to make them a public knowledge. One day, not now, but one day. Okay. So thank you so much. I feel your love. I feel how much you care. I feel connection to you. Thank you. The hardest thing in the first year, in the first 11 months, was being alone without my family. And knowing that family is in Russia, I missed my kids, my wife like crazy. We finally reunited in late July of 2023, 11 months after I left. Well, in early August, really. For a few months, I felt absolutely happy. If you want to know what happiness is, you should have looked at me in August and September of 2023. A family moved here for good. We sold everything we had, not much, but everything, couple cars in an apartment in Moscow. We sold it, and we were out of there. We have been. Michael started school here. Oля started applying for school in the USA, and Dasha also was going to Uzbek school. So everything worked out. I was so happy, 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 happy. Troubles came later, and they came from Google demonetizing. They came from the U.S. government denied Ola twice for student visa. Everything was in place. We only the third attempt. It cost us a lot of money, a lot of nerves. Okay, the third attempt was successful. Then Google demonetized me. Then I got Bell's palsy. Then I got a series of different sicknesses, serious ones. And I have felt in the last year and a half, I felt as I am going against the wind. Okay. But that's okay. I have support of my family. I have them right next to me. Every time I go to bed, I hear Michael. I hear Natasha. Uh, I know that Oля is in Philadelphia. I know that Dasha is here at university. That's incredible. I also feel an incredible support from you. I also feel I know. I don't have faith. I know that the God is watching over me and they watches every single step that I take. I know that I have lots of friends. If I need any kind of help, I'm covered in Tashkent Breakfast Club. It's an amazing feeling. Emotional again. Sorry. Pardon me. Sorry. What I got wrong about Exile when I moved? What did I get wrong in principle? I keep on thinking of that question. My life is over. I really asked it. I asked myself. When you walk around the streets of Tashkent and you listen to music, those songs they end and the new ones begin, and there's a pause of a few seconds. When you don't hear the music, you start getting thoughts, you start asking yourself questions, and on a few seconds, many questions you ask yourself in those few seconds between the songs. I remember, I remember walking around and thinking, my life is over. What do I do next? And this is it. Might as well just sit down here on a sidewalk, and do nothing. In reality, I was very wrong. My life was not over. Russia was over, but that's not my life. I had worked so much and so hard to get things in Russia, to get an apartment, to get a car for myself, a car for Natasha. I bought a house for my parents, and I lost it overnight. I just like that, everything vanished, almost everything. Everything I worked for 20 years, and I was amazed how easy you lose things you work for decades to make, to earn, to buy. And just like that, in 36 hours, everything's gone. All you have is backpack and luggage, and that's it. Whatever you can fit there, that's your life. That's your belongings. In reality, what happened back then was just the beginning. It was not the end. It was the beginning of a new life. It was the beginning of a mission that I found. For the first time in my life, I feel like I have a big mission. I have created a community of 1,000+ people, different kind of people, fantastic, very interesting, great guys and girls there. Um, I have grown this online community, and I've met incredible people here online. I have received so many thousands, if we count all in 3 years, thousands of emails saying that, thanking me that saying that I helped people by my prayers, our prayers at the end of live streams, and by just by keeping the faith, uh, by giving them hope of not giving up on Russians. Okay, being an example of a Russian um, that cares. I have founded Brain Drain Unlimited Foundation, a non-profit in the United States that helps good people find new homes, because I am seeing a lot of new good people around me without homes, myself included. One of the worst things is I'm countryless, homeless. So I've been helping a lot of people, and I have done other things that I usually don't talk about online. I'm feeling fulfilled for the first time in my life. I was a C-level executive for almost 20 years, and it was a very good job. I built power plants. That is very noble cause, but I didn't feel like I'm feeling now. I feel like I have wings behind my back. And of course, I get blows served one after another, personal blows, but I still have wings. I'm still breathing. I'm still flying forward. I found new friends here. And again, it's difficult to find friends at 46, 47, 48, and I've been successful at it. So many Ukrainians came and thanked me, and that is priceless. Every time a Ukrainian shakes my hand, I get a little bit of personal salvation. My family have gone through hardship and came out on top shining. We got glued together. My family didn't get ruined by all these hardships. It got stronger. So I was wrong about living in exile. It was an opportunity, and I have taken it, and I'm living it. And I believe this is just the beginning. 3 years is nothing. Now, at the end, I would like to give a few lessons. Well, share, not give, but share a few lessons that I've learned over these 3 years. 5 lessons to be exact. Lesson number 1: believe in yourself. You are so much more than you think you are. When you are given a challenge, you grow. You produce so much more strength and resilience than you think that you have. Always believe in yourself. Give yourself a chance to surprise you. Give yourself a chance to surprise others. Because I've seen that happen so many times. People not believing in themselves, and bit by bit, they change their opinions, okay? And they showed so much more than everyone expected from them. I saw people grew tremendously. And I think that, well, I know that everyone is capable of that. So please believe in yourself. In any situation, you are more than you think you are. Number 2, believe in God. Trust the God to help you. Trust that every time you ask, it will be given to you. If you're a non-believer, I was thinking when I was writing down this advice, what if a person is non-believer? Well, you know what? Trust in other people. Believe in people. Because God will work through people, helping you, guiding you, supporting you. And it doesn't really matter if you believe or not. He will work through people. So believe in God. You will be helped no matter what. Number 3, reach out for help without hesitation and help others as much as you can. I have seen miracles happen here in Uzbekistan in the first days. Well, it still happened, but in the first days, those days were filled with miracles. I saw people in desperation wandering around the streets, and I saw just strangers on the streets coming to them and asking how to help. People didn't have a place to sleep. They were taken to someone's house and given a bed. They were given food. Okay? All you have to do is to ask for help. Do not hesitate, and people will come to your rescue. And then when others need help, do as much as you can. Number 4, work hard. There is no way around it. Hard work is the foundation of everything. Number 5, never fear. You always get the support. Fear brings you down. Fear destroys you. Fear cuts your wings off. Fear is the worst thing that can happen to you. I remember going through fear, and I just don't even want to recall those times, you know? Never fear. Always keep your chin up. Always look straight forward. And take steps. Step by step by step. This is how you move. Wake up. Get up. And keep on walking. Never fear. Now, 2 questions before I finish. Do I regret anything? Not a thing. You know, thinking of this live stream, of this message, I was trying to recall anything I regret. Nothing. Well, it's actually one thing. When I arrived in about October, November of 2022, Bitcoin was at $18,000 per Bitcoin. So I regret not buying it, and that's about it. And another question is, would I change anything? Not a thing. I would still leave Russia. I would still go through the things that I've gone through. I would still get those experiences. I would still grow personally. I would not change a thing. Friends, again, thank you very much for your support. You've been a lifesaver. Thank you for Patreon. It's what basically is keeping me afloat financially. Thank you for coffees that you buy me at Buy Me Coffee and PayPal. That's the only means of support I have. I'm not making any money from Google whatsoever. At first, I kind of hesitated taking donations, but then I never lived off donations. But then I figured if people send me money, they find what I say valuable enough to support me financially, with their hard-earned money. And it's an honor, because we all work hard for the money, and to part and support someone, you really have to feel something good. So thank you again. Thank you, friends. I was gonna make this live stream shorter, actually. Mods, if we could turn the live stream chat on for at least 10 minutes or so, I would say hello to everyone. Is it possible? Because at this time we usually go to prayer, and then there will be prayer at the end. Please let me know what you think. Lorna, Mammy, Bob, Harry, Amir, if you're here. God, that was emotional today. I lived again through so many moments and experiences, Thank you. I couldn't have done it by myself. You've helped me so much. By the way, if you like this message, then it gets shared with others. The viewership of Inside Russia has been going down for some reason. I haven't changed anything. Perhaps YouTube is demoting me. It just admitted that it's been unfair to a lot of people because of the political pressure, my channel including. Well, they're not hurrying to remonetize me, but I admitted they're wrong. So I don't know. Perhaps they're demoting the channel, showing it to fewer people. But so if you like this message, then share it in your social media accounts so more people see it. The algorithm likes it, and then please comment. Yeah, not really too much time to ask and answer to answer questions, but I'll try to. Just saying hello to everyone. Lorna, Harry, thank you for coming. Bob, as usual. Bob, thanks for the email. Pretty hopeful. I think yesterday you sent me one. I will reply. Just give me a day. Amir and Mommy are not here, but they are in our hearts, nevertheless. Leitmotif, this was very hard to watch. Your pain is so apparent. Hugs, my friend. Thank you. You see, Leitmotif, thank you so much. You've been in so many live streams, and you always have good words for me. And trust me, when I sit here in front of the camera and I speak into the camera, it's not fun. But when I see the live stream chat, I see real people sending me such words like you just did. That resonates right here in my heart. That makes me feel better. Thank you so much. That's what I'm saying. This community have saved my life. I would have died of sorrow. I've seen people breaking down in that freaking winter of 2022-23, I've seen people going back. They couldn't stand it away from their families, away from their normal lives. I've seen families breaking apart. I've seen people disappearing, going hell knows where, Um, thank you so much, Leitmotif. Thank you. Thank you so much. Heaven's Blade, Trollmaster, hello. Scott, Koshkin Dome, Thomas Elliott, the mods, Jones Rames, Jeffrey S., Sam K., thank you, friends. Thank you all. Seika, Richard Warner, Christy Bauer. How long was it before your family joined you? 11 long months. 11. That was 11 hardest months in my life. But you know how I felt when they came finally, when they were with me, right next to me? I went to bed with them. I felt like there was so much happiness inside of me. It could be squeezed out and bottled into small bottles. It would be liquid happiness, That's how I felt. Bob has 10 minutes. Thank you. Yeah, just 5 or so minutes, and I am shaken. Sam Remelion, hello, hello. No more stream. Shareleaf, thank you. Thank you so much for good words. Angela, Gwyneth Benelek from Southwest England. Thank you for coming. Kerma from Finland. Howdy. Kerma, you know the feeling. Imagine if you lost your country and you can't ever come back. If you go back, they prosecute you for no obvious reason. How would you feel then? Andres Benz, good nobben, Finola, thank you. John Richards from Colorado, sending my love to Colorado. Terry Carter from Pulaski, Virginia. Terry, thank you for being the pillar of Inside Russia. Leslie Playfair, hi from Quebec, Canada. Thank you so much. I miss Frank in Texas and Jeffrey S. So any word from them? I hope Larry Barth, he's in coma. I hope he's recovering. I hope he's getting better. Elsha, thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Peter Olson from Sweden, Tyler Douglas, especially Pretty Lorna. uh, I apologize. Ron Gravel, long time no see. Adler from Texas, heard everything is bigger and better in Texas. um, Terry Carter, Constantine, if I had my wish, you'd be celebrating Thanksgiving in Maine. Or Alex is in college in Texas. Well, it's good to hear. Fantastic. I remember the story of Alex. Thank you. I wish I was celebrating in Thanksgiving in Maine, but the chances of that slim to none. Twisted Teapot. I watched you for a long time, but I don't always comment. I was lost too, though, different reasons. I can honestly say you helped me hold on. Thank you. I tried to give out as much as I can. Okay. If I succeed, if I help you in any way, then know that you make my life happier. Thank you very much. Remember that lesson I learned. Never hesitate to ask for help, to reach out for help to people, and always help as much as you can. So I'm trying to help as much as I can. Sam Cave, Mr. Humor of Inside Russia. Um, Adam, this was the first live stream I've been able to watch due to the time zone. I just wanted to say thank you, Australia, Melbourne, Australia. Thank you so much. Sending my love to Australia. Guys here, Pamela, of course, Pamela, thank you for coming. Yarto, thank you for coming. Great to have you here. Arbeck 820, usual suspect here since 37,000 subscribers. 37 was around May, April or May of 2022. So you know what? That makes you the pillar of Inside Russia, not the usual suspect. I think many who are here in this chat, they are not even suspects any longer. They're pillars. Mark C, hello. Guy, howdy. Okay, couple more questions and we'll wrap it up. Koshkin Dome, would it help if each... I'm sorry, I'm still too shaken, I guess. If each of us in this community registered with more than one name identity, would double the viewers. No, thank you so much. It's Google thinks it's cheating, okay? They could actually punish the channel for things like that. So everything's fine. I mean, the viewership is dropping. That's another blow, okay? But I'm kind of used to it. I'm running against the wind, remember? But thank you so much for suggesting. Ron Gravel is also in exile. Makes two of us. Howdy, brother. You know who? Thank you. The privilege is mine, really. Tony B, Constantine, we will never leave. There'll always be to stay. Thank you. Thank you so much, friend. Jones, we have your 6 o'clock. Thank you, Tyler. It's very heartwarming to read this. Lucas, thank you. Kevin, Omaha, Nebraska. Have a big house with 2 apartments, mostly full of guitar and drums all over the place. Thank you, friend. Thank you, Kev. Pinda, all channels, even Jake Bro is complaining about decreasing view numbers. Well, I've thought about it. This is what I've come up with the solution, okay? And, we'll pray after that. I'm gonna do the best I can. Friends, I have been doing the best I can. I am full of stories, I'm full of knowledge. I know the Western world and I know the Russian world. I am a hybrid. I am one of very few people out there. My knowledge is in many ways unique. And I am sharing the best I can. I am very grateful for YouTube to give me the audience, to give me voice and the stage. Okay. And I will continue working around the clock, which like that I have been doing for the past 3.5 years to get my messages out, the messages that I find important. And if there are people out there who listen, that's fantastic. If viewership declines, it's out of my powers. The best, I'm going to be doing the best I can. That's all. The English people here taught me a very good saying: keep your chin up and keep on going. And this is exactly what I'm going to do. So, I don't know anything else. Thank you, friends. I invite everyone to pray, believers, non believers alike. To me, there's no difference. We're all people. We're not left and right. We're humans, okay? We're not believers or non believers. We're humans. We have hearts. There is love in the heart of each one of us. Love is the same. And it's just our angles, how we look at things are different. But we are all absolutely same. Thank you. Let's pray. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for this community that I tune into every single day, and I find so much support and love. Thank you for all people here who are praying along with me or simply watching us pray. Thank you for all this 3.5 years away from my home in Uzbekistan. Thank you for my family being with me. Thank you for everyone being healthy. Thank you for everyone being well fed. Thank you for all support. Thank you for this day you've given us. Thank you for the food you've placed on our tables and the roof you've given over our heads. Thank you for the loved ones that surround us, that are in our lives, and thank you for our families and children. Dear Lord, please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads safe and peaceful. Give us wisdom to raise our children in a way that when they grow up, they will make this world a better place, will not fight in any wars ever. For now, please keep our children healthy, safe, and happy. Dear Lord, I am asking for Ukraine and Ukrainians. Please stop the bloodshed. Help every single Ukrainian who has been changed, touched by this tragedy, who has suffered because of this tragedy. Help every single Ukrainian. Answer their prayers, make their wishes come true. Reach out and touch people who are responsible and capable of making the decision to stop the bloodshed. Touch their hearts, fill them with love. Wake them up, please, so they make that decision. And help my country, Russia. Assemble your strongest angels with sharpest swords. Have Saint Michael in shining armor lead that army of yours down to this earth to get rid of the demons who have hijacked Russia, who we know by their names and by their faces. Please send your great angels to help good Russian people to run their country, to help them make it loving, respecting, and peaceful. Dear Lord, please help everyone who is traveling, send them safe travels, help everyone who is in danger of any kind, send safety, help everyone who is seeking for asylum, help everyone who is crying, hurting, heart bleeding, send them your love. Help all single mothers and fathers who are struggling, trying to make ends meet, raising their children. Send help their way and help those who are helping Ukrainians and help Ukrainians who are currently under attacks from Russian weapons. Send them safety, please. Dear Lord, I am asking you to help all those who are in need of your love, attention, and help. Help the sick, the cold, the hungry, the addicted, the jobless, the homeless, the crying, the depressed, the ones who are losing their faith, the ones who are feeling betrayed, the ones who are bleeding in their hearts, the ones who are going through divorce, the ones who cannot see their kids as much as they want to, the ones who feel betrayed and left behind. Reach out and touch the heart of every person in need and fill it with warmth and love and show every person that you are next to them, you love them, you care for them, you watch every step they take, and you have not abandoned them, and you never will. Let them know that. Please help everyone who is in need. Thank you so much for this community, dear Lord. Thank you for everyone who's praying along right now, simply watching us pray. Answer everyone's prayer, make everyone's wish come true. Um, Send everyone healing. Send everyone smiles and happiness. Send everyone wealth. Thank you. I have some people I would like. They need your help, and I'm asking for you to help them. They are Larry Barth, Larry TMBC, Victor Garishan, Uli Yun, Rod, Lee and Brenda, Rafaela From and her family, um, Janice, Rose Bronicky, Karsten, Teresa, Ron Bazoid, and Hannah, Jeffrey S., Katharina Holmes, Mark, Tom W., J.R. McKim, Gabin with Gary, Lisa Kumrian, Harry Potman, Terry Carter, John McLean, Linda Trombley, Paula W., Dennis, Jason Carney, Susie Mailer, Tim Mayers, Dory, Rhonda McGillis, John Taylor Wayne, Darla, George Ruberty, Pamela, Jay, Meta Spencer, David Porter, everyone in Chernovtsi, Ukraine, Life, Randolph, Grace, Dean Spooner and his church, Yelena, Natasha, Michael, Jake, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Svetlana, Sergey and Sergey, Liz, Ron Klotzer, Liz, Dumbrell, Koshkin Dom, Sandra, Mike and Mike, Petra Olson, Joseph Obaid, Millie, Philip Radcliffe, Eileen from Ireland, Highwayman, Jeff Gibson, Derek Martinez, Janice Burgess, Renata, and Denise Abbott. Thank you, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you, friends. Not an easy stream for me, not an easy message to deliver. I really lived again through all those moments, and some of them just not so pleasant. Although at the end, I think everything is spectacular. So thank you so very much. You're awesome and you rock. Please come back either tomorrow or on Sunday. I'm not sure if I finish on time. I'll do the news update tomorrow. If not, then on Sunday. And definitely will be a live stream for patrons on Saturday as usual. And live stream from Tashkent Breakfast Club in the morning. Well, at noon from Tashkent Breakfast Club on Patreon. Not here on YouTube for patrons. Thank you so much. Thank you again for your support. I cannot say enough of that. Thank you, friends. I love you. Please repeat after me, as usual at the end, as loud as you can, along with me. Carthago delenda est.